Hello everyone, thank you for joining me again today for this memory plan with me. On this occasion I am using some new inserts from Live, Love and Craft. I just started off having a little bit of a play because I really wanted to use some of that valuable real estate at the top of the sheet, and so I have done a little bit of a whiteout here and there, but that's okay. It takes a little bit of time to get used to something new, and I have no doubt that these are going to work beautifully. I'm going to show you through this kit, which is called Chic Life from Harriet Wright Designs. As you can see, it's predominantly neutral. It has some peachy coloured florals in there. The pinks are more mauvey toned, and as I said, that's why I refer to it more neutral than predominantly pink. It's a beautiful kit. Harriet Wright Designs is well known for her beautiful, elegant presentation, and this one is no exception. It's just lovely. I think there was foiling on 4 out of the 5 pages, which is very generous foiling. Plenty of boxes, lots of things to use in the spread, and then finally a lovely deco sheet with some florals and some other bits and pieces that refer to the chic life. So join me as I take you through the basics, and we will come back shortly to go through the planning from Monday to Friday. Now with the baseline laid down, it's time to start on the planning for each day. I still have quite a lot of real estate at the top of the sheet, which I like to use, gives me plenty of room to plan. So I'm going to keep working on using that area at the top. But for the first time, and for the first time trying this particular layout, I'm quite happy with how that's looking. It's a nice mixture of little lace stickers there with the headers that came with the kit and the date covers that came with the kit, and the little date dots are from Paper Muse Crafts. Yes, Paper Muse Crafts, and they're all in gold foil, which is what this particular kit has been done in. So at the moment I am just using the arrows or banners, that flags, couldn't find the word, using the flags that came from the kit and just popping them across the top. So on this particular occasion, 4 days of work, and Tuesday 1 day working from home. And for the work stickers this time, I'm using work stickers from Mum and Me Handmade Designs, and that working from home sticker on the Tuesday is from Arctic Paper Studio, and they are what will form the top of my Monday to Friday. And in the typical Harriet Wright style, each of those little flags has a small amount of foiling on them, just enough to catch the light, not over the top, just an elegant little touch of gold foil in the corners. So I'm just going across now and laying down those stickers. As you can see, the work stickers are a lovely size. They fit beautifully across the size of these pages. So the Erin Condren is 1.5 inches wide, still in inches because it is an American product, and a lot of these boxes in the planners are set up that way, mainly because the kit formats out there by the shops and the various resellers are also in that theme, and it's quite good really because it's a nice balance. The 1.5 wide is perfect, and the boxes are usually about 1.9 inches tall. That can vary too, but most shops tend to conform to those sizes, and that seems to work quite well. Now, using a couple of the strips that were in the kit that are also foiled, they're long narrow strips, I've gone across to Saturday and Sunday, where I haven't done a washi banner this week. I just wanted to use the area that I had, so I didn't really want to give it up to a washi banner. And I've just popped that across, going between Saturday and Sunday, and that is where I'm going to add the sticker for the weekend that comes with the kit. And you can see me there trying to battle with my little knife and the sheet. Harriet Wright stickers are probably other than Florina Papery, I think it's the thickest sticker paper I have ever seen. The great thing about that is they travel very safely and well from Germany, or rather I think she's British, so from London to Australia. But boy, they are really super thick and quite hard to break, as you probably saw there. I had to get the cutter out to cut them, which is really good. That's it's definitely, it's not a bad thing by any means, but just something to be aware of if you are using a Harriet Wright kit. They're going to be a lot thicker than the vast majority of kits that are out there, and as I said, it doesn't take away from how lovely they are to use. So once I'm happy that the weekend sticker is where it needs to be, it's time to head back to Monday and get on with the day's plans. So using one of the littles from the sheet, it's a very, very pale pink. In fact, quite a few of these stickers are very pale, and you would struggle to see them on the spread, quite frankly, but still they add just a subtle touch, and it's nicer than having just a little white space there. So I've used a coffee cup from Mum and Me Handmade Designs. They are beautiful cups. They have a lovely rose detailing on the side of them, and they're just a little bit cuter than the average cup, which has very little on it. I like that rose touch. It's certainly something that appeals to me. And then I'm just going to put beside it, using one of my fonts, that this was Coffee Monday. And really, of all the days of the week, I think between Monday and Friday, definitely the 2 days that there is no getting away without starting with a cup of coffee. So I realised as I was doing Monday that I sort of skipped over the sidebar. I used one of the banners that I got from Sadies Stickers, that lovely little gold foil garland, rather, I should say. Above that, I've used a corner and the April month. The April is my own sticker. The corner is another Sadies sticker. I've used a little rose which came from the kit in the deco, and then down the sidebar I've put a couple of trackers and then a Monday to Sunday tracker, and used the kit's headers between it. Those little dividers are Beau strung dividers from the Giving Girl, and that's pretty well formed the sidebar. Down the bottom I also used another sticker from the kit, so didn't have to pull in anything special or extra there to complete the sidebar. Then moving underneath Coffee Monday, I have taken one of the larger floral pieces from the deco sheet, and I'm just going to decorate a box there because most of this day was taken up at work by one activity. We had been advertising a role, and today were going to be the interviews for that role. And so I've taken a half box and turned it on its side and popped the floral down the side of it and marked on there that I had interviews all day. And then when I'm finished writing this on, just at the bottom to take up a little bit of white space that appeared at the bottom of the sticker, I've used from the Pretty Pink Co. It's a laptop, it has a little cuppa sitting by it and a bow on it. It's really quite delicate and lovely, and pretty well sums up the day with having the computer on and a cup of coffee going between interviews, and they lasted all day, as I said, and that can be quite not grueling, but it certainly can be a bit tedious because you're talking to people all day. And while the people we interviewed were all very lovely, it's just quite tiring. So that was the bulk of my Monday at work, and then I just finished off for the day on the Monday, noting that that evening was my Monday evening doctor's meeting, and again I've taken another one of the littles, but on this occasion I realised when I put it down that I needed to turn it around because I wanted to put the icon on the other side and not on the same side that the computer was on. So you'll see me shortly lift this up and turn it around so that I can pop a piece of deco from the deco sheet, which was a little watch on it, and I thought that would be reasonably good to actually show the time and indicate the meeting that was at 8 o'clock that evening. And then that finished off using also my little meeting script, which is my own, and that finished off the Monday, which was predominantly a lot of work items, not very much of anything else done on this day. And once I put down that script sticker, that completed Monday. So moving across now on to Tuesday morning, and it was a work from home day, but that was mainly brought about by the fact that there were a couple of accidents on the freeway where I'm living now. The freeway connection and one other main road are the only two roads heading into the city, and when they clog up with accidents, then you can be sitting for ridiculous periods of time. Plus, to add to this, there's a lot of construction going on at the moment as they're being widened. So there's just no point in wasting time sitting in traffic. I really hate doing that. And fortunately, I've got the facility at home to do everything I need to do. So I turned back home and I could see how futile it was sitting in traffic. And I spent the morning working from home. I went through the notes from my interviews and wrote up my various reports from those, and was starting to put together a short list of whether we were going to offer second interviews to some of the candidates. And that was my morning spent working from home. Heading down to the bottom of Tuesday and underneath the full box, I've taken one of the quarter boxes from the kit. Again, like so many, just a little hint of gold foil in the bow, and wrote on there that I needed to complete the minutes from the meeting on Monday evening. So that was just a small note and popped under there quite tidily. Then after that particular event was put into the diary, I wanted to work out how the rest of the morning was going, or rather the afternoon was going to fit with the things that I wanted to put down. So I'm just looking for the right size box here. And sometimes you think you've got it all planned out, and then when you start writing things down, perhaps things don't always go according to plan. So that's the thing with, especially doing the memory planning, where you want to perhaps pick out the things that took up the bulk or formed the majority of the day. You can take a little bit of time to hunt around for just the right sticker. So on this occasion, the afternoon had turned particularly foul, and I'm using one of the quarter boxes, but this one's a fully scalloped quarter box, so it's quite sweet, again in quite a soft peachy pink tone. And I've used a piece of floral deco that came from the kit, and just marked on there that the afternoon ended up turning into storm and hail. So I was very glad that I had opted to stay home and work from home on this day, because the weather was just particularly foul, and I happen to drive a car which has a soft roof on it. So the last thing that I want is to be stuck out in the hail with a soft top car. I don't know that that would have necessarily had a very happy ending. Then taking a half box from the kit, I've just popped underneath that last sticker and lifted the corner of the rose so I could tuck it in underneath there. And using the little computer desk or work desk from the Pretty Pink Co., I noted on there that I needed to check a few of the accreditation documents. Our accreditation was the following week. The bulk of things had been done. I was feeling very comfortable that we were ready. Most of the things that I was doing now were last minute checks or just going over something that perhaps I felt I could elaborate on or add to. But as I said, the bulk of it was done, and most of the best we could do was probably already had, and it was now just a matter of waiting for the auditors to arrive. And so that half box saw the end of Tuesday. So now it's time to head across to Wednesday. And Wednesday morning was back to work, and it was actually in the clinic this day. And this was just a matter of me going over the manual that had been completely redone to match the RACGP 5th edition, which is the guidelines by which we are governed. And it's quite an extensive list, certainly more than I had been used to coming from private practice into general practice. They work very hard. I think, I know I certainly got a surprise when I came into the administration of this group. So their hard work was the first thing that really hit me. They are extremely busy and dedicated to their patients, and the rules by which they must abide are pretty intense as well. So I've used one of the long flags from the kit, just written down the side of there that I needed to work on the manual all day. As I already said, it was virtually done. It was really just a matter of double checking, running the spell check over again, just checking that everything was where it needed to be. And I've used one of the little computers from the actual kit itself, and then popped under there a divider. So I've used that little divider before. It's a printable from Petticoat Bandit. It's quite a nice little flourish. It's got a nice little curve and everything to it, but it doesn't take up a heap of real estate, just fills some of those places that have got the white space. And then underneath there, I've used what was actually like a little 3 checklist, but I covered it up so you really didn't tell that that's what it was. And I've taken that sticker and popped it underneath or closer down to the bottom of the full box. And I just noted on here that I had been talking with Christina about a gift for one of my sons, had a birthday coming up on Sunday, and she mentioned that she had seen him look to buy something and that perhaps we could pool our resources, as it was a little bit pricier than we normally spend, and get him something that we knew he really wanted. So that was what the afternoon was spent doing, working out what that gift was going to be. And then I just Christina made it easy for me. All I had to do was transfer funds. So That was really nice, and it's just nice to know that when you're doing gifts for family members particularly, and friends too, I suppose, knowing that they're going to get something that they actually really want. These days, with us all being so fortunate to be able to buy most of the things we want now, it's nice to be able to pick a gift that's been thoughtful and will be well used. Finish that off, I've used some stickers from Simply Watercolour Co. And they are just little bows that I covered over the checklist. The checklist had bows on them, but you really couldn't see them. So I decided to just pop them down with some gold foil. And then I've gone back realising that I have not put my stickers on the sidebar, which I frequently do. And I've just popped on there that I wanted to track my vitamins, again, as I frequently do, and my steps for each day. And I'm using my own, just a little script font, and popping that down in the sidebar, and then the grateful one underneath it. So the two at the top, I thickened up the actual thickness of the font, so that's why they're a little bit heavier. And then the grateful one I did in to a lesser degree, and I think I prefer the finer ones, but the other two probably show up better. So I'm undecided. Maybe I'll try and find a halfway point between those two before I print my next lot of fonts. But basically that finished off the first half of the week. Heading across on to Thursday, and underneath the work flag, I have taken a quarter box with the scalloped edges, and has a little gold bow on there. And I've marked underneath that I headed into work just a little bit earlier. I do have a reasonably early start, but on this day I decided to go in an hour or so earlier because I wanted to make sure, while we had little traffic in the clinic, that different things were in place for Tuesday. Things like making sure that there were little deodorizers in some of the power points so that everything smelt lovely. Just keeping a check on the kitchen and other areas to make sure they were tidy and everything was away, and just generally having the place looking as appealing as I could. And so I've squeezed in another little quarter box under there, this time a plain one and not scalloped, and just wrote on there that by the time I had done a few of these things, it was definitely time for a coffee break. So I've used another one of my scripts and another one of those lovely cups from Mum and Me Handmade Designs to signify on that first half of Thursday that I was going to have a coffee. I was just checking the sheet to see if there was a coffee cup in it. I was surprised. There's very few kits that you get that don't actually have some sort of a coffee cup, but on this particular one from Harriet Wright, there was no coffee cup. Not that that was an issue, because I had these lovely ones to use anyway, so it didn't really matter. And as I've mentioned in previous Plan With Me's, by having the tails at each end of the word, I can sort of move them across the page as I see fit. And on that occasion, I just trimmed off a little bit of that coffee. And then heading down under those beautiful Valentino shoes, which are just so gorgeous. Sadly, I don't have the petite feet anymore to really do shoes like that justice, but one can dream, and they are really beautiful. So I'm just popping down there, and I'm taking a half box from the kit on this occasion. It is a fairly plain one, but nevertheless, it was going to do the job. And I've also grabbed a little bit of the floral deco, and that was the other half of the one that I'd used previously, and just had a little play with where I wanted that to go. Often I'll try and tuck them onto the boxes because I think it softens the cut edge on them, and that's what I've done here. And just pop that underneath those shoes, and on there that I marked, after having gone through these documents the last couple of days, I'm feeling very comfortable that we're very well prepared and that we've done everything that I believe we need to do. Certainly to the best of my knowledge, still being relatively new to general practice, but it seemed like most of the boxes were ticked, and we were definitely well prepared for this. I'm sorry that I popped a little bit out of frame there, but I have put another one of those little computers or laptops from the Pretty Pink Co. that have got the little bow and the coffee cup, just to signify that I was comfortable that these documents, once I'd gone over them, were as best as they were going to be, and that's a nice feeling to have. A lot of people at the clinic, particularly myself and one of the other staff members, have put quite a lot of effort into this, so it's nice when you feel comfortable that you're heading in the right direction. And then lastly, I relaxed that evening by watching a show on Netflix called, I've written Killing Sarah, but I think it was Who Killed Sarah. I'm not really sure, but it's a Spanish dubbed movie, so for people that don't like subtitles, it wouldn't be much good. Although I think actually it might be voiced overed, now that I come to think of it. But either way, it was quite good. It's a good thinker schminker, which I love. I love a good whodunit. And as it turns out, they're doing another series, which is good, and it's continuing on from what we've already found out. And that was something that I enjoyed. It was very relaxing, and I've actually used a Harriet Wright Designs little television with the bow on there to mark that little bit of television watching that evening. So moving across onto Friday morning, I used another one of the flags from the kit. This one's just got a lovely little gold striped design in the corner, which is rather appealing, and some more florals. I think I've said in other plan with me, I like to try and balance up sort of the right and the left side. If I've got too many floral heavy on one side, it tends to make it look disproportionate. So I'm just popping across to use a few more florals in here to balance up with the first half of the week. And with that particular floral, I have popped that over this long flag that I'm selecting now. The little gold stripes in the corner of the flag are a typical Harriet Wright. They're subtle, but they're elegant and effective. They're the sorts of things I really love about her kits. So I'm just popping that floral down the side line of the box with the flag. Initially, I was looking to put it on the top, and then I thought, no, I feel it needs to go underneath. So I've just lifted that floral and popped that flag in underneath there. Just wrote to the side of that I had a later start this day and a later finish. I was actually waiting on a delivery of a couple of things. I knew they were going to come later in the day, so I just changed my start and finish times to accommodate that and make sure that was all well in place before I left on the Friday. Then underneath that, in the afternoon, I actually came home and I had a pedicure. So at the moment, with us having gone through several stages of lockdown, many of those things that I once went out and had appointments for, I'm doing at home myself on the odd occasion. I've also got somebody that helps me out with those. So on this occasion, I just had a pedicure at home that night, painted my tootsies to match my nails, and that was a really nice relaxing way to spend the evening. And then just after that, I actually used 2 of the hexagons, layering hexagons that were in the kit, and a little nail polish bottle from Mum and Me Handmade Designs, and I've popped those over each other, then the bottle on top, and just wrote on there that I did a pedicure. And then underneath there, to finish off the evening, although I did watch a little bit of TV that night, was I enjoyed a really yummy salmon meal. David tried a new recipe this night and it was delicious. I was going to try and fit in a full box there, but it was going to end up being a bit too squishy. So I went a little closer to the box that's underneath with the relaxing chair in it, popped in a quarter box, used the little knife and fork that's actually in the kit, and wrote on there yummy salmon. And then with that little bit of white space between the pedicure and the meal, I've put another one of those print Petticoat Bandit printables with the little flourish divider. And that was the completion of the working week and my Friday. Heading across on to Saturday morning, I used another one of those print Petticoat Bandit flourish dividers and popped that underneath the weekend. And I've taken a quarter box from the kit, just a fairly plain one, and using my favourite Mr. and Mrs. Mint stickers, which are my sleep-in stickers, with that cute little pillow and that little sleep-in font, and marked on here that I had a sleep-in. The cute pillow is very appropriate because I've just recently been bought a gift of a silk pillowcase, which I probably wouldn't have gone to the trouble of buying myself, but I'm so glad to have received it. I can't believe the difference it makes. They are so lovely to sleep on. They keep your head beautifully cool. They stop your hair from getting knotty. I've just found that they're really quite beautiful and I'm very impressed with them. So that was a nice gift to receive. I did have a look at putting a floral on there, but it was really just too big and overpowering, and especially given there was one right beside it, it just didn't seem like the way to go. So I had a little bit of a fossick through my stickers to see what would be appropriate, and that was when I decided to use the sleeping sticker from Mr. and Mrs. Mint and pop that in there. And I've mentioned previously, but they do come coloured, but I also print them in just on a laser in the black and white, and then I foil them. So they're very versatile little printable stickers. She has physical stickers as well, but I tend to purchase mainly their printable ones, and they're quite sweet and do print up very well and foil very well. So after a late-ish breakfast, I was heading out to a wholesaler to pick up some ornamental flowers. They're fake flowers, but they look so real. In fact, when the staff walked in on Monday morning to see these various bouquets I had around the place, they thought that I had filled it with fresh flowers, and they were all quite amazed to discover that they were in fact artificial flowers. They really were quite lovely, and I think particularly fairly priced. So they were a nice addition. And I've used a half box from the kit with a nice little foiled hearts in the corner. And then I've gone and taken a Sweet Bella XO corner. And that's actually the same as the corner that I used from the sheet that I used to mark April. And I think I did say Sadies Stickers earlier, but that's not very fair because they came from Sweet Bella XO. But they're just beautiful. I love those corners. There's a couple in that sheet and they're really, really lovely. So I picked up my flowers from a little place called Des Flora, just in a little industrial estate. But as I said, really good value and nice selection and well worth the trip. And then I took them back to the office that afternoon. I don't normally work on a Saturday, but again, this was just part of getting everything ready for our accreditation on the Tuesday. And then after that, later in the afternoon, when I had a little bit of me time, I decided to do a little bit of printing and cutting. So often I will, although I tend to use mainly printed kits that I buy physically from the shops for these Plan With Me spreads, every now and again I do a printable kit, and I frequently use printable kits in my monthly spreads, and I use the leftovers in my weekly plans that I take with me day to day. So I did a little bit of print and cut, and I've used that lovely little silhouette sticker that's from Crafts by Thaowie, that sticker. And that is exactly how my silhouette looks. Oh, actually, no, that's not true. It's a different model to that, but nevertheless, much the same. Who really cares? It doesn't matter as long as it sort of gets the point across. And I popped in there that I did the print and cut later in the afternoon. And I think that night I went back to watching some more of Who Killed Sarah. So heading across on to Sunday morning, I usually do my filming on one day during the week and a Saturday. But because I had to go to the florist to pick up the flowers, I didn't get that done. And I ended up doing this on Sunday morning. But I firstly wanted to mark my son's birthday because that was sort of the special event for the day. And so I went down to the bottom of this area, just above the full box, and popped on there using Stella Beau Sticker Co. a happy birthday, a group of balloons, and there were some little stars on this half box in the kit. And I wanted them to be a little bit masculine because it was for one of the boys on this occasion. And we ended up going to his home for dinner that evening. His wife put on a really beautiful spread. The food was fantastic, and he got to celebrate the evening with all the people he cares about. There was a few there. We were fortunate that we could do this as we weren't in lockdown at this stage. Last year when he celebrated his birthday, we were right in the middle of lockdown, so this sort of made up for the one that he missed out on last year. And I was quite happy that popped in there. It fitted quite well. So then going back up to the morning of Sunday, I've taken a half box from the kit and I'm going to use a little bit of floral, that one that I tried to use earlier. I've now popped onto that full box, and I wanted to mark on here that I did film and edit in the morning before we headed out to the birthday party later in the afternoon. And to do that, I have used a script of my own, which is the film script, and then just wrote underneath the film script and edit. And I've used 2 stickers, and both of the stickers were from Crafts by Thaowie. One of them being the camera on the tripod, which I think is just a lovely film icon. It's definitely a favourite. And again, I love the way that that Crafts by Thaowie pops her bows on different sides, so you can move it to where it suits your spread better. And then this one with the film strip and the scissors is the perfect icon for editing. And that's what I've popped on the morning of that Sunday. And then just between the 2 things there was a little bit of white space. So I've gone back to one of the strips from the kit, similar to the one that was underneath, or actually I think it's the same as the one that's underneath the weekend banner, and just to put a little bit of a division in there to fill a little bit of that white space. And that concludes the plans for the week of the 19th of April, which was a birthday week for my second eldest son, and in general quite a pleasant week. So I did go back after I'd completed this and decided to pop on these little stickers. So they're just something that I made myself, and they're like a little swag or a little sort of garland. I'm going to use them up because I've made them and printed them, and they're in a little, I've done them in different foils, and I quite like them, but they're a little bit too half circle. I need to sort of pull them out a bit and make them not quite so that deep shape. But nevertheless, I thought I would go through and pop them on a few of the different boxes here and there, just to bring a little bit more bling. You can never have enough foiling. And as I said, just going through here and there, quite randomly really, where I find a little spot, and adding a little one of these garlands to the spread. I realised as I was chatting through this video that it's considerably longer than I normally do, and that's because I usually do a little bit of a speed up on the time factor, and I take them up to greater than normal time. So I do apologise that it was longer than usual. I'll just be a little bit more careful and mindful of that next time. But this is the finished spread with the sidebar filled in, and I'm just going to try and do a little wiggle there to catch the light. As you can see, lots of lovely foiling, and with such subtle colours, I think that the balance of those 2 things worked out really nicely. A beautiful washi at the bottom. Again, typical Harriet Wright, simple, elegant, really lovely to use. I thoroughly enjoyed it. So I'm just going through the leftovers and showing you what I have left, which will go into my leftover sticker book and get used in my weekly. Thanks for joining me. Please don't forget to subscribe and hit that like button if you can, and I will see you in the next memory plan with me shortly.